Hello and welcome back to the Niche Football Podcast hosted by me, Cavan Campbell. The aim of this podcast is to focus on the more unique stories in football, the ones that you may not have heard of. This podcast will run alongside nichefootballjournalism.co.uk in bringing you interesting stories from around the world. A more narrative and storytelling format than your usual football podcast, and one that aims to tell a unique story in every episode. Now in this episode, we do have a tale that some people may be familiar with, and it is the most difficult journey to reach a Champions League. So what qualifies this story to earn that title? Firstly, for some context, we do have to travel to the digital world, where the story was first popularised online. Football Manager, the game in which you take over a club from a plethora of options worldwide and guide them to win as much as possible. Many online creators play the game and show their journeys to success, often choosing their favourite clubs, most of which are very recognisable, and they want to bring as much success to their clubs as they possibly can. And then there's what we want to focus on, the so-called FM challenges. These are very difficult and different to a usual game fail save. So an FM challenge requires a little more research into the game's database. The challenges often require the player to take control of a club with some kind of quirk, perhaps like a financial situation. Examples include taking over clubs with points deductions, possibly due to them financial situations in all fairness, or even clubs such as Athletic Club in Spain, who famously have strict recruitment policies and require you to sign players from the Basque country only. This tale is very different though, and is deemed as one of the most difficult challenges in Football Manager. So for this we head over to Switzerland. Sort of. In fact, we actually delve into the microstate of Liechtenstein, where we come across FC Vaduz. Residing in Vaduz, the capital of Liechtenstein, FC Vaduz hold a unique position in football. Liechtenstein, predominantly due to its size, does not have its own professional football league. This, of course, makes it very difficult for clubs to progress and improve the nation's football talent. Due to this, FC Vaduz play in the Swiss Football League system, allowing the club to be fully professional and gives the opportunity to play against other top-level clubs. This circumstance is apparent over Europe, with a couple of extra clubs sort of in the same scenario. Famously, AS Monaco play in the French Football League system, even though they are an independent microstate. San Marino have San Marino Calcio play in Italy's Football League system, and Andorra have FC Andorra playing in Spain. All these clubs are from microstates and find it beneficial to play from outside of their nation, with the permission of their adopted leagues. FC Vaduz are somehow even more unique than these clubs are. The aforementioned clubs, excluding Vaduz, all compete in their nation's cup competitions, not just their leagues, and can win titles as well as qualify for Europe through these pathways. FC Vaduz, though, cannot do this. Within the Swiss football system, FC Vaduz are labelled as a guest club. The club are restricted from playing in the competitions, the cup competitions, and from representing Switzerland on the European stage. So why would anyone play for a club that won't eventually play in European competitions? Well, that statement is actually false. FC Vaduz can play in European competition via the Liechtenstein Cup. Although the nation doesn't have a league format, they do hold an annual cup competition. Along with FC Vaduz, there are a littering of Liechtenstein clubs playing in Switzerland, just at a lower level. The cup consists of 7 clubs and their reserve teams. FC Vaduz dominates the Liechtenstein Cup with 51 titles overall, with the next closest competitor being FC Vaduz, who have claimed just 11 titles, 40 less than Vaduz. But why is this relevant to Europe though? Even though the cup is ranked very low for coefficient, the victor does qualify for Conference League qualifiers, and this is the only access to Europe for FC Vaduz and their fellow Liechtenstein clubs. What makes the Champions League so difficult then? Well, there's a pathway to Europe. It can't be that hard. Well, this is where the famous online FM challenge gains its notoriety. FC Vaduz are the most successful club and the biggest from the microstate, and therefore have the best opportunity for this. FC Vaduz currently play in the 2nd division of Switzerland, and as of this recording, they are actually currently fighting for the title to reach the Swiss Super League. The difficulty is though, even if FC Vaduz gain promotion and then finish in the European places in the Swiss Super League, as a guest club, they will not be allowed to enter European competition through this method. They can only represent Liechtenstein. So even if they win the Swiss Super League and lift the title, their European spot will then be given to the highest finishing Swiss club. So how on earth are they supposed to reach the Champions League? Firstly, they have to win the Liechtenstein Cup just to gain their qualifiers for the Conference League. Once they get through them qualifiers, something they've only achieved once since the 22-23 season, from here they will have to win the Conference League. Already this is seeming quite difficult. The club just cannot match the likes of the Premier League's Conference League representatives, whether that be on talent or financial muscle. But unfortunately, this is the only way. So in the realm that Vaduz win the Conference League, they will be granted access to the Europa League. Now, the difficulty is just getting turned up a little bit more now. Not only will this be the club's first appearance in this competition, they, unlike any other club, do not have a fallback, because if they exit the Europa League at any stage, they can't win a domestic competition to get back there straight away. They once again have to win the Liechtenstein Cup and then the Conference League again just to get back to the Europa League. So how can this club get to the pinnacle of the Champions League and lift that title? Well, the pathway starts early. Win the Liechtenstein Cup. Something that seems pretty easy for FC Vaduz. Then get through the qualifiers of the Conference League and then win that. The following season they will be granted access to Europa League, and then they will have to win that again. Only then can FC Vaduz play in the Champions League. Unfortunately for FC Vaduz, it is again a similar tale. Once knocked out, they will have to start the whole process again. FC Vaduz will have to win all 3 European competitions consecutively to claim the Champions League. One slip and the process begins again. So a club from relative obscurity in Liechtenstein, but a club with an online following due to its very unique circumstances. Often regarded as a challenge club because of the popularity of the Football Manager games, but a club that lives the reality of one mistake restarting a project from scratch. And there goes the final whistle on this story. If you have any thoughts, head over to the website and leave a comment on the article. All feedback is appreciated, even ways in which to improve the podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, a 5-star review on Spotify would be amazing. Remember to tell your friends and follow Niche Football Pod on socials like Instagram. More articles are available on the website at nichefootballjournalism.co.uk for your reading pleasure. I have been your host Cavan, and I'll see you at the next kickoff.